Hello and welcome to this beautiful week. Today is the first day of the week, and you have to study history and a new chapter with it. So, I hope by now you have finished all your previous chapters and written work is complete. Since nobody had any queries, I assume that you all have understood the chapter and you have finished your notes as well. So, starting the new chapter, previously we have started the unit changing traditions, and in that we have studied the chapter the three orders. Today we are going to start the chapter changing cultural traditions. Okay, and we are going to study how the three orders that we studied in the previous chapter, what changes these three orders along with the fourth order that we studied have brought in the European society from the 14th century to the 17th century. So today is the introductory lecture, so I'll give you the background of what kind of Europe we are talking about. Now, from the 14th to the 17th century, many countries in Europe started growing. Okay, development started taking place, progress started taking place, and जो हमने fourth order के बारे में पढ़ा था, that was made up of lawyers and teachers and doctors and merchants. So that order was very different from the clergy, the farmers and the nobles. और ये ऑर्डर का जो थिंकिंग था, जो सोच थी, वो बहुत ही फ़र्क किस्म की थी. So basically we see that the fourth order tries to help in the development of various other countries in Europe as well. And in this particular chapter we'll be talking about Italy, and from where from the 14th century to the 17th century, we talk about something called the Renaissance period. Okay, Renaissance period होता है period of change, which brought more focus on education, right? और लोग, क्योंकि लोग now this was the time when printing also started. तो प्रिंटिंग स्टार्ट हुई तो बुक्स बनना शुरू हुई. जब बुक्स बनना शुरू हुई तो वो डिफरेंट लैंग्वेजेस में डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स के ऊपर बनना शुरू हुई, एंड पीपल स्टार्टेड गेटिंग मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन स्टडिंग, ओके, इन गेटिंग एजुकेटेड, एंड स्पेशली अबाउट नोइंग मोर अबाउट द हिस्ट्री of their country, about the culture of their country, about the traditions that existed, and they started making a comparative study, about how modern they were, और Greek civilization में और Roman civilization में कितने similarities थे, कितने differences थे, और जो वो present situation में रह रहे थे, which was moving towards modernism. How much was it different from the ancient world that existed in Europe, the different civilizations that existed in Europe? So they started becoming aware of what was happening around them. They started becoming more aware of what education was, what was the importance of education, because with becoming educated, they also understood how orthodox the religion was. Okay, now जब हम orthodox के religion के बारे में पढ़ते हैं, तो it's like very similar to what was followed in India also in the medieval period, right? जैसे कि जो religious clergy था, जो religious group था, वो कैसे लोगों को रिलीजन के नाम पर मिसयूज़ करता था, कैसे लोगों को डराता था, कैसे लोगों से रिलीजियसली it would, it created fear among the people. And studying religion or knowing about religion was only limited to the upper class society or the religious priests. But now, since the printing came into being, Bible was the first book that was printed, and people started reading it. People started to understand what was religion all about, and then they understood that what should be followed and what shouldn't be followed, and what was right and what was wrong. And they started to question the church. And once they started questioning the church, तो चर्च का जो पार था, जो चर्च का होल्ड था, वो भी कम होने लगा, राइट. एंड जो पहले ये माना जाता था, जैसे लोगों की सोच थी कि दुनिया भगवान ने बनाई है, सन मून. अब जब रेनेसां पीरियड आ गया, सो पीपल स्टार्टेड स्टडिंग साइंस. सो नाउ दे अंडरस्टूड the system of revolution and rotation and solar system and universe, and how days are counted, how nights are formed, how many hours are there in the day, how many days are there in an year, what is lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. तो ये सब चीज़ें वो लोग को अब उनके समझ में आने लगी, वो जानने लगे इसके बारे में. पुराने ज़माने में जो एंशिएंट पीरियड था, वहाँ पे तो लोग बिल्कुल ही नहीं जानते थे, तो वो लोग डर जाते थे कि मे बी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कर्स बाय गॉड. बट एज टाइम पास्ड बाय, दे अंडरस्टूड, नो, इट इज़ द सोलर सिस्टम, इट इज़ द सिस्टम ऑफ रेवोल्यूशन और रोटेशन. दिस इज एन एग्जाम्पल दैट आई एम गिविंग यू. एंड देन दे अंडरस्टूड. And now when the period of Renaissance comes, Renaissance is the most important period in the world because it brought lot of changes in the world. Okay, people started becoming aware कि science ही एक religion नहीं, एक subject नहीं है, religion ही एक subject नहीं है. There is maths, there is geography, there is history, there is Italian, there is painting, there is music, there is architecture, that there's a sea of subjects that can be studied and learned. Now हम लोगों को जो ये पीरियड है 14th सेंचुरी से लेकर 17th सेंचुरी का जो पीरियड है, हमारे पास we have plenty and plenty of resources which tell us what changes took place in what manner. So we have documents, we have printed books, paintings, sculptures, buildings, textiles, art galleries, museums, archives. मतलब हमारे पास भरमार है रिसोर्सेज की, जिसकी स्टडी से हम बता सकते हैं कि रेनेसां पीरियड कब शुरू हुआ, और रेनेसां what changes did the Renaissance period bring along with itself, not only in Italy or not only in Europe but in other parts of the world also. Okay, so earlier, these historians who used to study, so there was this man called he was a Swiss scholar, a historian, उसका नाम था जेकब बर्कहार्ड. ओके, और उसके जो गुरु थे, वो एक जर्मन हिस्टोरियन थे जिनका नाम था लियोपोल्ड वॉन रैंके. ओके, सो उनका कहना था कि जब हम किसी सिविलाइजेशन के बारे में पढ़ते हैं तो हम बेसिकली उसके पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम के बारे में पढ़ते हैं, और अगर हम उसके पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम को डिटेल से पढ़ेंगे, जानेंगे, तब हमको उस सिविलाइजेशन के बारे में पता चलेगा. पर जेकब बर्कहार्ट जो थे, वो अपने गुरु की इस बात से ज़्यादा सहमत नहीं थे. एंड ही बिलीव्ड दैट इफ़ यू हैव टू स्टडी अबाउट एनी सिविलाइजेशन, it's not only the political system that you study, it's everything. It's about their culture, it's about their traditions, it's about their food, it's about their um, clothing, it's about their language, it's about each and every minute thing that existed. Only then you can have a study about a civilization as a whole. तो ये इस बात में दोनों शिष्य और गुरु जो थे वो आपसी सहमति नहीं रखते थे. And in the year 1860, Jacob Burckhardt wrote a book by the name The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy. And in that book, he brought it to attention about what was the civilization about, what was the Renaissance about. And he wrote about literature, about architecture, about paintings, about the humanistic culture that followed, about Italian towns, about their flavors, about the food, about their dresses, about each and everything that he saw and he experienced. He wrote in that book, and that was what Renaissance was about. और जब लोगों को वेरियस सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में जानकारी मिलने लगी, when they started gaining knowledge, when they started gaining education about different subjects, different civilization, there was a sea of change that came into being, and people started becoming more aware of things that were around them. तो तभी से जो ये लिबर्टी के बारे में आप सुनते हैं या फ्रीडम के बारे में सुनते हैं या इंडिपेंडेंस के बारे में सुनते हैं, डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में सुनते हैं, ये चीज़ें रेनेसां के गिफ्ट्स हैं हम लोगों को. And that is how we came to know, because earlier than that we were only dominated by the kings, by the monarchical system of government, by religion, clergy, orthodox religious beliefs. और हम यही सब चीज़ें थी जो हमको आगे बढ़ने से या हमको क्वेश्चन करने से रोकती थी. ओके, दैट वाज द मेन चेंज. और जो चर्च का कंट्रोल था वो भी अब कम हो गया. सो दैट वाज द चेंज दैट रेनेसां ब्रॉट into the not only in Italy but in the entire world. Now I would just like to throw some views about the revival of the Italian cities also. Now इससे पहले रोमन सिविलाइजेशन, सबसे पहले तो ग्रीक सिविलाइजेशन था, फिर ग्रीक के बाद रोमन्स रूल करना शुरू किए. सो इटली वाज अंडर द रोमन सिविलाइजेशन. After the Roman civilization declined, the towns of Europe and especially Italy were like in ruins. कुछ भी नहीं बचा था वहाँ पे, and it was as if there was no strong political figure जो कि इन लोगों को समेट के एक नया एम्पायर बना पाए या एक कुछ होल्ड कर सके. जो लैटिन चर्च था, वाटिकन सिटी, वहाँ पे पोप रहते थे, पर पोप जो थे वो सिर्फ रोम तक उनका पार सीमित था. रोम के बाहर उनको एज अ पॉलिटिकल स्ट्रॉन्ग लीडर कोई नहीं मानता था. ही वॉज अ रिलीजियस लीडर. सो जो एज अ रिजल्ट इटली बिकेम फ्रैगमेंटेड, यानी कि इटली was broken into pieces. बहुत सारे छोटी cities में divide हो गई. Later we see that trade expanded और Byzantine Empire था वो भी expand करने लगा, strong बनने लगा. फिर Islamic countries के बारे में हम पढ़ चुके हैं. They also started having a great hold on the business that occurred during that time. So in the previous chapters that we have read how business increased and how जैसे Arabic world से बाहर निकल के European world में कैसे business आने लगा, कैसे हम लोग यूरोप से बिजनेस करने लगे. So not only with Europe but Asian countries also. So even the Mongols opened the trade with China with the help of the Silk Route. So all these development in the trade and business, it helped Italy to progress. तो ये जो छोटे छोटे जो इटली जो छोटी छोटी सिटीज़ में बट गया था, छोटी छोटी स्टेट्स में बट गया था, नाउ ये जो छोटे छोटे स्टेट्स थे उसमें से कुछ सिटीज़ थे जो कि डेवलप होने लगे, जिसमें से एक सिटी का नाम था फ्लोरेंस, दूसरी का नाम था वेनिस एंड Genoa. These were some cities which developed and they became important training centers or trade centers of Italy. Okay, so especially Genoa में जो religious hold था वो थोड़ा कम था, तो feudal lords का भी उतना नहीं था, clergy का भी उतना नहीं था. So जो आम आदमी था उसने वहाँ पे government बनाना शुरू किया, and people understood, somehow when these two were not dominating, means the clergy or kings and queens and the nobles were not dominating the administrative system, तब लोगों को एक और चीज़ का एहसास हुआ, which was the concept of citizenship, कि हम आखिर किस कंट्री को बिलोंग करते हैं, हमारी आइडेंटिटी क्या है, हम like what will we be known as? We will be known as Europeans, or we will be known as Italians or Venetians. Venetians मतलब वेनिस के लोग. तो जो ये the concept of belonging to a particular state, the concept of identity, कि ये हम यहाँ के लोग हैं, हम इंडियंस हैं या हम इटालियंस हैं या हम स्पेनिश पीपल हैं या हम जर्मन्स हैं, दिस कॉन्सेप्ट was also created. It is also the gift of Renaissance. Okay, and this is how these countries who were once upon a time ruled by military despots, now they became people, they became free cities where the people, the town people, lived and governed and took care of themselves, right? और इसी के अंडर में और क्या क्या चेंजेस आए, कैसे वेरियस यूनिवर्सिटीज़ वर ओपन्ड, कैसे ह्यूमैनिटीज़ या ह्यूमनिज्म सिखाया गया, पढ़ाया गया, कैसे डिफरेंट राइटर्स, फिलोसोफर्स, they came into being and how they changed the mindset of the people, the thinking of the people, and brought the concept of democrats and republics and the power of how the common people can form the government, and they need not depend on any military commander or a king or a queen or any noble. This concept came into being. Okay, so that we will study in the next video. So this is just an introduction of what happened in the 14th until from the 14th till the 17th century as the Renaissance period started in Europe, with particular reference to Italy. Okay, so I hope that you will understand this lecture. If you have any doubts, please feel free to answer in the comment section, or feel free to question me in the comment section, or as you wish, you can message me also, right? Till then, take care. See you on Thursday. Bye-bye.